Okay, welcome for listening in, everyone. I'm going to read you the brief about Alvester Gibson. Alvester Gibson is the president of Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce. He and the Chamber's mission is to connect businesses and create an atmosphere to grow. When you invest your dollars and time with the Balch Springs Chamber, then they want to make sure that they reciprocate the business with their support. Thanks for allowing us the privilege and time with you, Mr. Gibson.
You're welcome. Thank you, and I want to say good morning. It's a pleasure and honor, and thank you for having me.
Oh, man, I'm excited for you, for what we're about to have going on. I want to explain to the listeners how we met and what we got going on, but we'll do that another time, so let's just get to basically the questions. So once again, I appreciate your time. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do, Mr. Gibson?
Yes, I'm actually the president and CEO of Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center. I work with 2 staff. I have 13 volunteer board of directors, and my job and task is to handle the day-to-day operations. But the biggest part of it is my job is to create an atmosphere for businesses to grow and succeed. And that's through workshops, after hours, and our normal chamber events.
Okay. Wow, you got a lot on your plate.
It is a tremendous task. You know, most presidents and CEOs are full-time. My staff and myself are actually about 25 hours a week paid, but we work probably 50 to 60 hours a week. And
wow.
One of the things I want to add is people always ask the key question, what separates your chamber from others? Number one, I always tease with them and say, it's me.
That's right.
I don't say that from an arrogant standpoint. It's just that I'm so passionate about the chamber, and I'm so passionate about business. I have a business myself, several, and I know what it's like, owning a business, a bookstore, art gallery, and health store for 13 years. I'm originally from Texarkana, Texas. And so I know what it's like looking out that window and waiting for customers to come in. So my passion, is high and keen for what I do because, I'm excited when businesses can grow and have success. And so that's a busy job. And so we're working hard every day, not only to grow our internal organization, but also to help other businesses have success as well.
That's right. And it may be a little side note, ladies and gentlemen, but I know this man. I met him 5 minutes. We sat down for at least another 15 or 20 minutes because we're both passionate and we like the after effect. So this was one of the purposes why I want you guys to listen in. He does stand out. He's unique from any other president chamber. You just got to come and see. You got to listen in. So I'm going to lead on. So how did you get started in the as a president, or how did you get started with the chamber?
Well, actually, when I had my bookstore, art gallery, and health store in Texarkana, I was asked to become a board director for the Texarkana Chamber of Commerce, and I was also a director for an organization called TRAC, it's the Texarkana Regional Arts and Humanities Council. So Then when the transition was made from Texarkana to Dallas, actually came to Balch Springs, I was able to partner with the local chamber here because I was familiar with working with the chamber, and I understood that was one of the great instruments in growing your business because the chamber has all the resources, all the business contacts, and so I wanted to partner with them. So I started out as a business development specialist for 4 years, became a board director, and in February of 2012, our current CEO and president at that time wanted to focus more on grant writing and the regional arts. So the board decided to vote me in as interim president for 7 months while they were in search for a permanent president and CEO. So I just kept working, and in October of 2012, the chair of the board at that time said, wow, man, look, we've been in search all of this time for, for someone who's been right up under our nose, because all of the energy that was put into the search, I never wavered. I never let it distract me. I kept building relationships. I kept, getting more involved in the community through economic development, and I just kept working hard. And finally they said, hey, this guy's doing the work, so we might as well go ahead and vote him in permanently.
Right. That person was sitting right in front of them, right then and there. Man, that's solid.
Absolutely.
That's solid.
Yes, I will tell you this. It's funny because I was sitting down in front of our interview board, and the first word came out of my mouth, which if you've been around me, you can see this already, is I'm extremely passionate about this business.
That's right. We're both passionate, but I'm passionate.
Yeah.
Just a side note, the outcome. I want to see people successful, and I do what it takes to build bridges. So I appreciate you for your time. Like I said, once again, I'm so excited about what's happening and people who are listening, who's about to be a part of this, whoever listening to this. So, but when I don't want to bring you off though. So when you was part, this is going to probably answer the question. When did you first decide that being the president of the chamber of Balch Springs was right for you?
I mean, it was instantly, because once again, I stepped into an atmosphere that I was very familiar with. I love business. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've been working for myself basically since I was 11 years old. Honestly, I started out, throwing papers. And
man, me too.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, we learned so much. There's so much common interest. But go ahead. Yeah, I understand that. Entrepreneur, you got to collect your own money, all that stuff. You got to schedule your time. You got to pick up the papers. The routes early in the morning for anybody else. So I definitely can relate. But that makes you enjoy it more. The journey.
Yeah, and you appreciate it more. And for me, my mother raised 7 children by herself, so I had to grow up very quickly. And so I did other things, from mowing yards to, picking up cans. And real task was, I had a paper route at 11. And I tell people all the time, I bought my school clothes when I was 11 years of age. So
that's right.
I'm used to working more than one job and having multiple streams of income all at once. And so I love business. I love entrepreneurship. That's me at heart. And so I understand what a business owner is going through. And so when I say, that when you join our chamber, you get me, it's a little different, because you have a guy that understands, what you're going through on a day-to-day basis. When I go out and I mingle with businesses, I talk about each business that it's in reference to. I give you personal referrals. I'm texting you. I'm calling you. I want to make sure you get those contacts. And then I always encourage our chamber partners to do business with one another. And I'm always looking for those innovative ways to not only grow our business, but how can I do more for the businesses that are connected to our chamber. So it's always that ongoing thought process to see how we can grow together.
That's right. So that's going to lead to the next question, pretty much. So how should our listeners gauge if Balch Springs Chamber of Commerce is right for them?
Well, that's a good question. I would say this is right for you, if as a business owner, you want to be a successful entrepreneur. And I think that's the key question. A lot of times people have, they're emotional, they see this business, and the first thing that they target, is the money. I want the money. I want the money. I want to start this business because it generates a lot of money. Then they enter this business. They have a little success, maybe not. But I would say that the key ingredient is it takes passion, takes dedication, It takes perseverance, because any person that you speak to that has success will understand that there are ups and downs of business. Things don't always go your way. And when things are not going the way that you would like for them to go, and you have that struggle in terms of trying to grow your business, what allows you to persevere is your passion. That's
right.
what you rely on. Your passion, but also your divine connection to the Creator, because, I have to say that, that's my mindset by nature. That's what guides me. That's what directs me. But along with that, you have to have the passion, because that is what will allow you to stay the course. In business, I always tell myself, stay focused and stay the course. When you do those two things, then you'll stay on track and you will continue to grow and have the success that you desire.
Outstanding. So basically, to be a part of the chamber, you got to have some type of faith in this type of chamber, because they're unique from others. So another thing too is you got to have passion about this. I mean, you want to be around like-minded individuals that work as a team, I always say too. So that you asked that question, I just want to add a little side note. That's why I'm part of the chamber. So we're like-minded, but we're going to make steps. I like the after effect. So how long did it take you to get to where? Okay, I'm sorry. You want to add a little bit on to that?
I did. I did. I wanted to add before we move to the next question. I wanted to add this too. I call it a partnership, and in a partnership, both parties win. I mean, you can't just join and then go back to your office and expect for the door to just flow with customers, because, you have to put the effort into it. If you don't show up, if you don't come to the chamber events, if you don't get involved, on committees, if you're not visible, people remember who they see on a regular basis. And I just wanted to add that, because, some people think that, hey, you fill out the application and join, and all of a sudden this magical, flow of customers come in. That's why I always say I don't want applications and checks. I want a partnership. In a partnership,
that's right,
both parties win. So yes, you have to go through that process, but you have to be visible on a regular basis. You have to do your part, and then the change begins to work for you. But otherwise, you may not feel like that you're getting a return on your investment if you just fill out the application, drop off a few business cards, and then don't show up at any of the events.
Right. Well, we're back on this again also. I always got a saying, it's perfect doing, not doing perfect. Just show up. Make one step first, And people always, try to judge you, up front. They don't know what it took back or previous before that to get to that point. So, you got to make the first step to lead to that successful, or to what you target, what you're marketing for. So I just want to, enlighten that too, because you struck a note on that.
Right.
So just show up. Like, for example, me and you made this effort to make this brief interview. I appreciate your time on that. Anybody else could have made excuses, So I appreciate you. But at the least, we did it, one time. I mean, all it takes is one step. No telling what's going to happen afterwards. People listen to this interview, so I appreciate that. So what information do you plan to pass on to our listeners today before we get off this? Do you have any special information that you just want to touch on? Because you hear a lot of notes. You hear a lot of things we can relate to. So just wanted to ask you that. What information do you plan to pass on? Do you have anything you want to pass on to our listeners today?
Well, if anybody has been in business, know that, the key elements for business is the key elements for life. I just want to kind of share some key steps to success in life and business. And for me, people always ask me, hey, how you doing? Wonderful. It doesn't matter how it's going, because I keep things simple. I'm thankful for life, and I'm thankful, for the opportunity to just be in business. I mean, you got to understand, this just a thought that you want to own your own business and you want to become an entrepreneur automatically allows you to step into that success realm. And it's a very powerful mindset when you think along those lines.
That's right.
So that's kind of what I want to share, some of the key ingredients, to have the success in business. Because, again, as I spoke of earlier, it's just not becoming emotional, finding out, hey, this business would generate a lot of money, and then, you're not passionate about it because you will get burnt out when you're confronted with a struggle or a hard task. Then you won't be as quick to stay the course and persevere because it's not your passion. So those are some of the things that I want to share along our way.
Okay, I appreciate that. So what advice would you give someone who's brand new to either a business or brand new to, the chamber, who's listening in to this, or new to the States? Or what advice would you give someone starting a new business, pretty much?
That's
first step, rather. What would you do first?
Well, let me just say this much. Before I get to that, I wanted to add, look, one of the things I learned in business from a great author, wrote several books, Dr. Jawanza Kajufu. He said there are three key essentials and elements to operating a business. Number one, you must have a quality product. Number two, this is very dear to me, you must treat the people right. We call it customer service, but you have to be passionate about people. You have to love people, all walks of life. You must treat the people right. And number three is revenue. Okay, we know we need revenue to operate a business, but if you don't have a quality product, if you don't treat the people right, you don't have to worry about the revenue because you won't have any. You should put the money before the people and the product. And I never forgot that. And I read a book by Tony Williams. It's called The Personal Touch. These are some of the things that people forget about in business. I write all my thank you cards personally, different. Everybody receives one, but the message is different to everyone because I have a different relationship with everyone. She had a PR firm where she signed on Janet Jackson, Eddie Murphy, and she talked about all the little small things that she did for them. And I never forgot those things, and I incorporated those things as a president and CEO of the chamber, and I made them a part of me. Now getting to your question, what advice would you give someone who's brand new and starting out as a business? It's simple. Make sure you're working your passion. What is your passion? The great thinkers always say, find your passion and then find a way to make money from your passion, because then you'll never work a day in your life, because then you'll be living what they call your dream. Every day you go to work, it's not work. It's your passion. You love what you do. What do you do that becomes easy to you? What would you do if money wasn't involved? So that's part of finding your passion. Secondly, the great thinkers always say, find a mentor. Tiger Woods had one. Warren Buffett had one.
Michael Jordan
had one. So you look at those, all across the board, from athletes to investors to great business people, and they have coaches, they have mentors, they have people that they look up to. LeBron James have one. Those are some of the things. It took me a while before I understood you've got to find someone who has paved the path, who has the success that you desire. And you partner with them and you learn from them. Warren Buffett even talked about how he volunteered his time at an investment firm, for free. We always think a lot of times, hey, if I do this, I have to get paid. That's not true. Some of the greatest things that ever happened to me happened because I simply volunteered and gave my time. And then, you want to connect with someone who has the same goal and aspirations that you have. And then, last but not least, you have to understand mathematics is very simple. Success begets success. When you hang around successful people,
Right.
you become successful. You know, they always say, your
Product of who you are.
Your net worth.
Right. It's so true.
So that's
true.
my advice. That's part of my advice. But those are some of the things that, for a person with the aspiration of operating a successful business, those are some of the key things that I would do.
Okay. On a side note, most people don't realize the president has a board of trustees or mentors. People don't realize that also. And then he follows through with that. The CEO of CBS, or whatever the CEO, so I know for sure I wrote an article about that, the CEO of CBS. He has mentors. He gives mentorships.
Absolutely.
So you got to surround yourself around like people and give and it shall be given. So keep doing that. So here's two more questions, then we're going to end the call. I appreciate it too. What's the least favorite part of your day, and what's the your favorite part of your day? So let's start with the least favorite part of your day.
That's a great question. Probably the least part of my day is not having enough time to do all the things that I would like to do in terms of growing the chamber and developing myself as an individual. That's probably
that's life. You enjoy life, man. That's what it is. And I know that's why I feel the same way. You feel like you don't have much time. That's when you really don't have it. That really is not a question, I don't think, the least favorite. It's just if you could have more time, if it was 25 hours and 24, you would do it because you're enjoying your life, So that's how I put it.
Right.
That's how I see you, how I met you. So I really don't think you have it at least favorite. If you had more time, I feel, you can help people because you're that type of person. So what's your favorite part of the day?
Favorite part of it is when, I can interact with business owners, our events and our functions, because then you get a chance to see people market their business. You get a chance to see people enjoy, the business functions and events like golf tournaments, economic development business summit that we have coming up. Business expo and taste event. I just love to see people interact, and I like to interact with them. I'm a people person, and so I love to interact with people and see them enjoy themselves and see them work towards growing their business. So that's the fun part.
Okay, great. Okay, so as we wrap things up, what should our listeners be doing for the next 30 days, 90 days, and a year to accomplish their goals?
Well, I would say I'm going to be biased and say, hey, join the chamber. Become a part of our organization. I used to own a bookstore. So I'm going to tell you, read books. Books are a daily part. I have a book. I carry a book with me everywhere that I go. I'm reading a book right now called The Top 10 Distinctions Between Winners and Whiners. And I keep it in my face because winners do things different than whiners.
Repeat that book title. Can you repeat the book title and the author? I'm jotting it down. I'm sure the listeners will hear that too. What's the title of the book, Mr. Gibson?
It's called The Top 10 Distinctions Between Winners and Whiners, and the author is Keith Cameron Smith is the author, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm just reading a little bit by little, but it's a great book because it keeps you on track and keeps you focused in terms of the things that winners do versus whiners.
That's right.
So that's one thing that I would do. You got to educate yourself.
That's right.
Another book that I read, Think and Grow Rich by Dennis Kimbrough, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The more you soak up positive energy and knowledge, it allows you to expand yourself as an individual and as a business owner. Also, I would also encourage to attend networking functions that are consistent with the business that you want to operate.
That's right.
Learn from other people. There's an African proverb which says, let everything be your teacher. And that means books. That means your travels, your experiences. Just because something happens that may be perceived to not go your way, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. You learn from it. Most successful business people have had many failures, or what is perceived to be failures, but they were just stepping stones or roadblocks to take them, in a direction that they should be going in anyway. So for me, I just try to look at things from a positive perspective. I try to, grow in every area, and those are some of the things that I would do as well. And also, the Small Business Association is a great resource to find a mentor, to develop a business plan, marketing plan, and to have someone right there with you that's already paved the path. They have already gone through the things that you possibly will go through. So partnering with them will help put you on the right path for success as well.
That's solid. Okay. So could you tell us a little bit about any products? And we have one more question and we're done. So do you have any events that's going on, or you have any products for our listeners? Or, like, for example, join the chamber, and what do you have going on in the next few weeks coming ahead? Do you have anything that you want to share with the listeners?
Yeah. Lastly, the one thing I would encourage is on Wednesday, March the 16th, that's next week, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., our chamber will host an economic development business summit. And we have an incredible lineup where we will have Senator Bob Hall, State Representative Tony Rose, Cindy Burkett, our mayor will be present. We have a EDC state administrator who was appointed by the Obama administration, Ms. Garcia Oliveira. She will be in the house. And then we'll have our local economic development and assistant manager, Mr. Charles Finner, will be in the house as well. Tickets in advance, $15, $20 at the door. But for a seasoned business owner as well as a person who is thinking about going into business, this would be a great atmosphere for you to come to see and hear what's the forecast for not only Balch Springs, but getting a state update and a national update from our representative as well. So this will be a great atmosphere to attend, which will then launch you, to carrying out your vision and aspirations as well.
Wow, that's solid. And ladies and gentlemen, any listeners that haven't joined the chamber at this time, I'm just going to, if you join the chamber while you listen to this, make sure you reply to me. Let me know that you joined the chamber. And I'm going to give you a 30-minute free consultation valued at least $500. I'm going to show you how to build your social media, which most people don't know how to do it. I'm going to show you how to build your email system where you have follow-up calls. So I'm going to give you a free consultation for 30 minutes. So reply to me. Reply to my email, which is info@nicholasbrowninc.com. Just let me know that you signed on, and I'll get you taken care of. All right. Mr. Gibson, hey, I definitely appreciate your time. Any final last words before we end this call? Wisdom?
Yeah. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. It was a pleasure. I do want to encourage the listeners to join the chamber. Our membership dues are probably the less in this DFW area, but we give you everything we have to help you grow your business. So, join the chamber. And then last but not least, I just want to say, it's kind of like Les Brown said. He said, the greatest ideas are in the graveyard.
That's right. So that's right.
We are alive and flourishing by the grace of God, and whatever business idea you have, take that first step. Take that first step, and let's bring that vision to fruition. So thank you again for having me. Thanks the listeners for listening, and I look forward to partnering with you guys in the near future.
Okay, before we end this call, give them your website, and is there a number they can reach? Do you have an office number where they can reach you guys, or they can talk to your assistant or anything like that if they got any more questions?
Absolutely. Yes, sir, absolutely. You can go on our website, balchspringschamber.org, balchspringschamber.org, or you can contact our office at 972-557-0988. Number once again, 972-557-0988.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Gibson, for your time, and thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you. Appreciate it.